and gentlemen, joining us right now, a man you might have heard of, the current reigning, defending, undisputed MVP of the NFL, Green Bay Packers quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
He is the MVP.
Woo! Hey, Rod.
Greatest of all time.
Hey guys, how you doing?
I'm good. First things first, how are you doing? Is everything okay? Or how are the symptoms? Do we feel good? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing really well. Big thanks to everybody that reached out, checked on me the last couple of days. Felt really good. Heard from so many teammates, former teammates, coaches, members of the organization, friends, both yourselves. Thank you guys for that.
Hey, no problem.
So definitely appreciate all the love and support.
Okay, good. Let's get right to it. All right, I feel like what we have been able to, I don't want to say build with you in your incredible, just how nice you are with your time with us every single Tuesday. People have learned a lot about you through this show, and I'm very thankful for that. Every Tuesday, I think a lot of thoughts were potentially changed about you. People that once thought something about you changed after hearing you speak. So whenever all this information came out, there was a lot of haters out there, obviously, that immediately started burying you, but there was a lot of people that listened to you on Tuesdays that say, hey, he's actually an incredibly deep person, an incredibly intelligent person, somebody that you would actually like. There has to be reasons for everything that we're hearing about right now. So I appreciate you so much for this incredible honor that we have to potentially allow you to have a platform and a floor to explain your side of this whole thing. And I can't wait to hear it. We're incredibly lucky for it. The floor is yours, Mr. Rodgers.
Thank you, buddy.
Good water drink. It's going to be a long one.
I realize I'm in the crosshairs of the woke mob right now. So before my final nail gets put in my cancel culture casket, I think I'd like to set the record straight on so many of the blatant lies that are out there about myself right now. And I appreciate the opportunity to tell my side of the story on here. First of all, I didn't lie in the initial press conference. During that time, it was a very, witch hunt that was going on across the league, where everybody in the media was so concerned about who was vaccinated and who wasn't, and what that meant, and who was being selfish, and who would talk about it, and what it meant if they said it's a personal decision. They shouldn't have to disclose their own medical information and whatnot. And at the time, my plan was to say that I've been immunized. It wasn't some sort of ruse or lie.
Wordplay.
And I'll get into
the wordplay. I knew it.
In a second. But had there been a follow-up to my statement that I've been immunized, I would have responded with this. I would have said, look, I'm not, some sort of anti-vax flat earther. I am somebody who's a critical thinker. You guys know me. I march to the beat of my own drum. I believe strongly in bodily autonomy and the ability to make choices for your body, not to have to acquiesce to some woke culture or crazed, group of individuals who say you have to do something. Health is not a one-size-fits-all for everybody. And for me, it involved a lot of study in the off season, much like the study I put into hosting Jeopardy or the weekly study I put into playing in the game. I put a lot of time and energy and research and met with a lot of different people in the medical field to get the most information about the vaccines before making a decision. And in actuality, it was pretty easy in the beginning to eliminate two of them. And it didn't involve going into the questionable history of some of their criminal activities and fraud cases or any of that stuff. It was simply the fact that I have an allergy to an ingredient that's in the mRNA vaccines. So on the CDC's own website, it says, should you have an allergy to any of the ingredients, you should not get one of the mRNA vaccines. So those two were out already. So my only option was Johnson & Johnson. At this time, in the early spring, I had heard of multiple people who had adverse events around getting the J&J. Nothing that was no deaths or anything, but just some really difficult times and physical abnormalities around the J&J shot. And then in mid-April, the J&J shot got pulled for clotting issues, if you remember that, right? So the J&J shot
I understand why he didn't
was
want to take that
not even an
J&J.
option at that point. So then my options became, okay, what can I do to protect myself and my teammates if there's not one of the big three options for me in my own body? And so I looked into and talked again to a lot of medical individuals and professionals, and found
See, I
that
don't
there
trust
was
that
an
J&J
immunization
shot.
protocol that I could go to best protect myself and my teammates. And it was a long-term protocol that involved multiple months. And I'm very proud of the research that went into that. And the individuals that I met with, and we felt like it was what was best for me. It was not, again, something that the league didn't know about. The league was fully aware of it upon my return to the Packers, and it was at that point that I petitioned them to accept my immunization status as under their vaccination protocol. Now, at the time, they had only had the big three was what they're going to do, and if you weren't in the vaccinated category, you were in a different category, which involved some draconian measures and protocols that you would have to adhere to, which, in my opinion, were not based on science. Were more based in a shame-based environment to try and get as many guys to get vaccinated as possible, so that the league looks better to the rest of the world. That was the focus of these, protocols, which I'll get into when I finish this diatribe here about the petition. So I petitioned the league. Initially, they returned and said, no, you'll be in the unvaccinated category. And I also said, how come there's no exemptions for medical exemptions, religious exemptions, pre-existing conditions? And they basically said, look, those are all basically exempted, but you would be put in the non-vaccinated category. And I'll get into what that meant from a scheduling standpoint shortly, but there wasn't any way of getting around that in their mind. So after they came back and said, no, you're unvaxxed, I said, okay, I'm going to appeal this. And so we went through the process, which was a multi-week process, where I asked them for time to gather information. I gathered over 500 pages of research on the efficacy of immunizations, all the latest research surrounding my case, everything from mask wearing to the efficacy of the vaccines and the duration of the antibodies, just all the latest research, right, that I was getting from my medical team. And in that process, we had many conversations. I enjoyed the conversation with the league. It was good sharing. But one in particular stood out when I knew I was not going to win this. I had a meeting, and they said, one of the main docs said, it's impossible for a vaccinated person to get COVID or spread COVID. And at that point, I knew that I was definitely not going to win the appeal, and it was very shortly thereafter that denied. Which we know now that information is totally false. That was given to me. My desire to immunize myself was what was best for my body, and that's why this is so important to me. My medical team advised me that the danger I'd be in of an adverse event was greater than the risk of getting COVID and recovering. So I made a decision that was in the best interest of my body. Not telling somebody to not get vaccinated or to get vaccinated. I think you should do what's in the best interest of your body. If you're scared of COVID, or if you have comorbidities, then getting vaccinated is probably in your best option. But if you have immunocompromised system, or if you have pre-existing conditions, then make the decision that's in your best interest. And that's what I did. I made the decision that was in my best interest. And the other part to it is that, and I've talked about this on the show before, but the next great chapter in my life, I believe, is being a father. And it's something that I care about a lot. And to my knowledge, there's been zero long-term around the vaccines. So that was definitely something that I was worried about, and that went through my mind. Now, obviously, having an allergy to an ingredient took me off of being able to take the mRNA anyway. But that, even if I didn't have that, that would be something that would give me a little bit of pause because we don't know what the long-term effects of these are. There's still clinical trials going on through 2023. So to just like when people just say, "Oh, just get the jab, just get the jab." Well, first of all, everybody's body is different. Number one, and second of all, there's a lot of things we don't know about this. So that's just one thing I really want to stress there. And again, the organization knew exactly what my status was. My teammates knew exactly what my status was. There was nothing that was hidden. During the time of preseason was during the time of the appeal. I thought actually at various times I was going to win the appeal. Um, and I think that people said I'd wear a mask during the preseason. Um, but I don't. I mean, some of the rules to me are not based in science at all. They're based purely in trying to out and shame people, like needing to wear a mask at a podium when every person in the room is vaccinated and wearing a mask makes no sense to me. If you got vaccinated to protect yourself from a virus that I don't have as an unvaccinated individual, then why are you worried about anything that I can give you? And let me hit on protocols now because that's obviously been out there as well. I have followed every single protocol to a T, minus that one I just mentioned, which makes absolutely no sense to me. But my daily routine is the routine of an unvaccinated person, which is I have to test early before starting the season. Vaccinated people test once every 2 weeks, non-vaccinated once a day, which, again, that's not based in science at all. You can have vaccinated people who actually carry and spread the virus, not testing for 2 weeks, and non-vaccinated people are the safest people in the building because we're the ones who are testing every single day and wearing masks the entire time. But instead, we're being made to think that we're the dangerous ones, we're the super spreaders, when in fact we're the most in touch with our body every single day. But these protocols that we've had to go through, I test every single day, 5 a.m. on noon games as well, which I don't understand why 5 a.m., but 5 a.m. in the morning on noon games. You test in the morning, and before you can go in the facility, you got to wait in your car for 30 to 40 minutes until they give you the okay to go in. Vaccinated people test and just go right in. So we had somebody test the other day. Vaccinated person tests, goes in, has breakfast, test positive. And then, oh shit, bummer, he just had breakfast with 5 people. Wait in my car, mask every day in the facility. So I mask up every single day in the facility. Physically distance from everybody else. I have major travel restrictions, so I can't leave the hotel. Can't have dinner with teammates, even though I tested negative that morning to even get on the flight. The only people I see at the hotel are vaccinated people.
Good catch. Happy that COVID hasn't caught your instincts.
Yeah. Only people I see at the hotel are vaccinated people.
Still got it.
But I have to wear a mask the entire time. I can't see anybody. Can't see anybody after the game.
Yo, these are.
I work out off to the side in the weight room in a mask. Again, there's been any studies about the efficacy of masks for workouts or the higher levels of CO2 inhaled during workouts and how it affects performance and body function. Not allowed to use the sauna or the steam room. I have to wear a yellow wristband at all times, basically shouting to the world, I'm uncleaned and unvaxxed. And in this situation now, I'm 10 days off regardless of tests or symptoms. So I'm sitting here 2 days in. I had some symptoms
Damn, bro.
Tuesday night, tested positive Wednesday morning. Didn't feel great yesterday. I'll get into what I've been doing, but I feel really good today. This is Friday.
It is.
But 10 days off regardless, where a vaccinated person just has to have 2 back-to-back negative tests. When it comes to the science again for non-vaccinated, it came up last week because Alan Lazard was a close contact to Devontae Adams, and Alan is not vaxxed, and obviously tried to cancel him for that. But they also didn't bring up the fact that he tested negative every single day. So just because he was close contact and not vaxxed, this is what the league has done: is they've made it, hard for people, to have a decision because, you're close contact. That means you're out for 5 days. Not based on any science, other than we're going to just keep this propaganda narrative going that unvaccinated people are the most dangerous people in society.
Some of the earth.
So, uh, and again,
Can I ask some questions here now?
let me finish up here. I'm almost done.
Got it.
I just want to say, that is what the media has been trying to do. They're trying to shame and out and cancel all of us non-vaccinated people, call us selfish.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the propaganda line too. Now, you're selfish for making a decision that's in the best interest of your body. Now, I've already spelled out, which I shouldn't have to, but I've already spelled out the issues of my own personal body and my own personal health, right? That, I have issues related to ingredients in the mRNA vaccines. That the J&J got pulled, not to mention the numerous issues with the J&J vaccine to this day. That I went out and on my own paid for and did research and went out and did an immunization protocol that's been used. Homeopathy has been around for centuries, and the doctors that I consulted with have been doing this for decades. The same type of stuff for children and adults who have immunocompromisation. They have pre-existing conditions or reasons that they cannot take traditional vaccines. The league didn't offer any opportunity for alternative medicines or treatments, as I'll get into. But I think the thing that is so disappointing is that it was not just that, but it was the coercion and the collusion, of GM saying they're not gonna sign non-vaccinated players, and the coercion for player 54 through 90 who thinks, if I don't make this squad that I'm on now in training camp, and I'm not vaxxed, my career is over. So there wasn't even opportunities. Workers in those same environments had no opportunity. Workers at the facilities, and it's happened all over the country. You were seeing these mandates for firefighters and policemen and government workers who are saying, well, no, it's, what about my body, my choice? What about making the best decision for my own circumstance? And that health is not a one-size-fits-all thing. I think that's the thing that's most disappointing. Look at our squad. We've had, I'm the second non-vax player to test positive. It's pretty evident I tested positive being around a vaccinated individual. I mean, that's the majority of people I spend time with. There's been dozens of individuals that work at the facility that are vaxxed that have tested positive. So this idea that it's a pandemic of the unvaccinated is just a total lie. And I go back to like these two questions for the, for this woke mob. Like, number one, if the vaccine is so great, then how come people are still getting COVID and spreading COVID and unfortunately dying from COVID? Like, if the vaccine is so safe, then how come the manufacturers of the vaccine have full immunity? So let's just step back and realize, like, this vaccine is revolutionary, the things that they're doing. However, we don't know a whole lot about it. And to just say that it's a blanket for all that ails you, in my opinion, is wrong and reckless. And for the media out there taking shots at me, like, you don't know my story, now you do. So quit lying about me. And personal health decisions, in my opinion, should be private. And they shouldn't have to be like gone through the ringer and over scrutinized by, people who are just pushing their own type of propaganda on the people and ideals. You want to have a conversation about it? I'm more than willing to have a conversation about it. But bodily autonomy is a right. And the shaming and the outing that, people seem to get off on so much, of finding these people who, oh my God, can you believe these crackpots who are not vaccinated? Everybody has their own story. Everybody has their own story and their own issues and their own reasons for doing things. But this shaming cancel society, that is wrong. And I made a choice that was in my best interest. You might respect it, you might hate it, but I bet you the same people that hate it are the same people that are really going to hate the fact that I'm 48 hours in, and I consulted with a now good friend of mine, Joe Rogan, after he got COVID, and I've been doing a lot of the stuff that he recommended in his podcasts and, on the phone to me. And I'm going to have the best immunity possible now based on the 2.5 million person study from Israel that people who get COVID and recover have the most robust immunity. And I'm thankful for people like Joe stepping up and using their voice. I'm thankful for my medical squad. And I'm thankful for all the love and support I've gotten. But I've been taking monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin, zinc, vitamin C and D, HCQ, and I feel pretty incredible.
Okay, so you said a lot there. We appreciate it. I'm going to have to ask some follow-ups, and we appreciate you getting your entire side out there. And there's some incredibly enlightening stuff about why you chose to do what you do.
Studies around sterility or fertility issues around the vaccines. So that was definitely something that I was worried about.